Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us here on WTHR Plus. I'm Dustin Grove. Right now, we are awaiting a news conference, a joint news conference with Indiana State Police and the Hamilton County Prosecutor. They are expected to announce new developments in a 34-year-old cold case, the 1992 murder of 24-year-old Tony Bledsoe. Tony Bledsoe was reported missing on March 16, 1992. Let's head to the news conference right now.
Case that has evolved over the years. Originally as a missing person. It stood as a missing person case for over 20 years. And in 2018, the Indiana State Police received information about this case that evolved it into a murder investigation. A very, very complex investigation that I will get into in just a bit that led us to this day. But again, we recognize that the family, the community, they have a lot of questions. They've had a lot of questions and they continue to have a lot of questions. And we hope to answer some of those. But please remember, this isn't the end and we can't answer all of those questions at this time. So I'm going to introduce Hamilton County Prosecutor Josh Coker to offer a statement. I'll return with a few more things and then we'll take some questions. Josh?
Thank you. For more than 3 decades, Tony Bledsoe's family has carried the weight of unanswered questions and unimaginable loss. While nothing can erase their pain, these developments are a significant step towards the justice they have long deserved. And let me be clear, time does not diminish the seriousness of taking a human life, and it does not weaken our commitment to pursuing the truth. Advances in investigative techniques, combined with the persistence and dedication of law enforcement officers, have allowed this case to move forward when in the past it might once have seemed unsolvable. And I want to recognize the investigators from the Indiana State Police, the Arcadia Police, and the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, past and present, who refused to let this matter lie, who continued to work hard and investigate and brought us to where we are today. And their determination sends a clear message. In Hamilton County, we do not give up on victims, and we do not stop seeking accountability. Now, as this case enters the court process, it's important to remember that the defendant is innocent until proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And because this is an active prosecution, we're very limited in the comments we can make in order to preserve the integrity of the prosecution and the case system. To the victims' loved ones, several are here today. We see you, we remember you, and we remain committed to pursuing justice, no matter how much time has passed. Thank you.
I'm going to offer you a brief timeline of how this investigation unfolded, but I would be remiss if I don't start with recognizing the man you see behind me in the Indiana State Police uniform is Lieutenant Josh Watson. His persistence and determination in this case has led to this day. Despite 3 promotions since he was assigned to this case, he has stayed steadfast and focused on finding justice for this community and for this family. In 2018, Lieutenant Watson was given this case based on a tip that was received by the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office. That tip is what evolved this investigation from a missing person with 0 leads at the time to a homicide investigation. Now, that tip came to the right guy because he happened to have knowledge of a recovery of remains in Putnam County that was a completely separate case. But because of his independent knowledge of that case, he started to think that things matched up. He started to connect the dots. And in 2019, he was able to use DNA analysis to identify the remains of Tony Bledsoe as the remains that were found in Putnam County in 1992. Started to get the answers to the questions that he had. He hit several dead ends throughout this very complex investigation, but he never stopped. I know that he will not and should not take all the credit to himself, but he was the driving force for the team of incredible people who stayed persistent on this case. There were other investigators that played very key roles in this, As you can imagine, the challenges faced when not only investigating a case that's over 30 years old, but also examining that evidence that we recovered over 30 years ago. The technology that we have now didn't exist when this case started, and so the progression of being able to utilize that technology today on evidence from yesterday was very challenging, but it's how we got to where we are today. And again, this isn't the end, but there's a huge step in this investigation, marking an arrest today of the person allegedly involved in this murder. So at this time, we'll take questions from you, and we'll do the best we can to answer them.
Josh, it looks like a plea agreement has been shows up on my case now against Thomas Anderson, the other suspect. Is he cooperating or plans to cooperate as far as the investigation against Emmert?
Yes, he actually pled guilty yesterday. It's still set out for sentencing, so the plea has not been accepted. But pursuant to terms of that plea agreement, there is cooperation in any other case that comes out of the death of Tony Bledsoe.
Is his cooperation what allows you to then take this step of actually arresting Andy Emmert?
That was an act precedent to us wanting to take this next step. We were waiting to get through that case.
Do you believe that Mr. Emmert is most responsible for the murder of Tony Bledsoe?
I believe that I would refer you to the probable cause affidavit for that.
You want to talk about the fact, I mean, obviously you kind of addressed it, but there's no statute of limitations on murder, and however long it takes is however long it's going to take to solve the case. Talk about that.
That is very true, and that is something that I've really been very impressed by the state police and how long they've continued to work. The state police and the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office and the Arcadia Police Department for how long they've continued to work on this case, especially Josh Watson. But we will never sleep. No, there's no end to a cold case for a murder, so we are committed to continuing to seek justice.
Joshua, can you address at all why you were not able to arrest Andy Emmert earlier until today?
I think it's pretty, if you read through the probable cause affidavit, I think it lays out the facts. It wouldn't be appropriate for me to delve that deeply into the facts now.
Anything else?
Do you believe now, though, that you have everyone who was involved with this murder?
Yes.
All right. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good job, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, that is Indiana State Police and the Hamilton County Prosecutor announcing a former town official has been arrested in the 1992 murder of Tony Bledsoe. Stephen Andrew Emmert, known locally as Andy Emmert, arrested this morning and is being held right now in the Hamilton County Jail. As you heard there, our reporter Rich Nye was there and asking questions, and you also heard police and the prosecutor saying they recognize there are still a lot of questions in this case, this 34-year-old cold case, and they also recognize that this is not the end, but certainly a huge development in this cold case with this arrest announced this morning. Rich will have much more on this. He'll break down what happened, have a timeline, and get more reaction starting today on 13 News at 5. For now, I'm Dustin Grove. Thanks for watching.